Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Challenger Series Qualifier Finals. Congratulations to Team Liquid Academy on securing their spot in the NACS Spring Split. Now we're going to turn our attention to the second series, where Astral Authority are up 2-1 over Top Dog Gaming. Astral Authority took fast control of Game 3, up 3,000 gold at 9 minutes, following a 5-man dive in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and players to watch in this series, since we're tuning in halfway through, are Astral Authority's jungler Schernfire, who's been instrumental in their 2 wins. We're watching a bunch of junglers today. I'm okay with this. And in their most recent game, he carried the team to victory on Graves with a final score of 7-1-4. So, just like Dardoch was winning on Graves in the other series, he picked it up for himself here. Ends up with a win with a very solid score, 11 KDA.
Yeah, solid indeed. On the side of Top Dog Gaming, look to the bot lane as marksman Pinoy and support Ken bullied their way to victory over Astral Authority and were pivotal in their game 2.
Yeah, and since we're jumping into this series and it's 2-1 in favor of Astral Authority, there are a lot of names on the side of Top Dog Gaming, despite being down 1 game, that you would actually recognize. You look over at this team and you go, okay, I know who Pinoy is. I have an okay idea of who Executioner Ken is because he played a little bit back and forth in Challenger, and I think in LCS a tiny bit. They have Acadian as their jungler, who is known as a very strong Rengar player, and then Slooshy, former mid laner of Team 8, who looked like he was going to be the new carry threat on Team 8 alongside Callie, alongside Maple. And then, of course, he dipped out for the season for a little bit. Now he's back to compete again, and right now it doesn't look like he's pulling too much to the table just yet. I mean, his back is against the wall in this series. If you lose this one, you have to come back in summer if you're really motivated and you really want that Challenger Series spot on the team that you're going to come up from the ground with.
Yeah, we're going to see which team goes the way of Frostbite in this series. And, you did mention it's teams back against the wall. On the upside, they do have 1 win. So they can come back with this.
Yeah, and they've shown that they can actually beat this team. I think that was a big mentality problem on the side of Frostbite because they've only won 1 game in that whole, what would we call it, like a best of 10 against them if we're counting the HTC tournament on top of it. So TLA actually came out with even more diverse strategies, with even more teamwork, and that seemed to be the undoing of Frostbite there. But when we get into picking bans here, there's also something else to keep in mind, is that this series apparently has been very back and forth. It's been very flexible in the picks and bans and what's being banned away. People are banning reactively. Pinoy played a really good Ezreal, ban it away. And then I think we're going to see more target bans as things pop up in this series. It's not going to be as rigid as the previous series we just watched between TLA and Frostbite. Yeah. Also, Blue Side has won all 3 games so far. So they're swapping sides.
You're right.
It's not going to be that whole Frostbite. And I guess in the other series, Red won every game, but it was just Team Liquid 3 games in a row. So.
Well, can you really contribute that to side choice at
this
point?
No, not really.
It was a great play from Team Liquid over the course of the series.
Yes, they definitely deserve to be in the North American Challenger Series for Spring 2016, and I look forward to casting them in the future. But as we move into this series, I'm eager to see who's going to be joining them and who is going to actually be able to take a game off of TLA, because they look strong.
They really do.
So I want to see some strong showings here from these 2 teams.
And again, they're playing for their own spot, not contending with anyone. This is the 6th and last spot of the Challenger Series. So it will be exciting to see if it's going to end up being Astral Authority or Top Dog. And, they've been playing well so far. I think we could expect some action in this, Game 4.
Yeah, it's actually quite strange, too, because when you look at the standings and how these teams made it here, right? Team Liquid Academy made it here being undefeated 8-0. They just made it to the North American Challenger Series from going through the entire gauntlet, the entire open bracket, undefeated, and they end up 11-0 during the bracket stages to make it in. You looked at Frostbite, I think they dropped 1 game throughout the entire thing, maybe 2, but they are knocked out. This team, though, Astral Authority, I believe they actually ended up winning the 3rd place match to get here, where they weren't even favorites in the 3rd place match in my mind. They were against, I think, AKA or another team. I'm not 100% on that, but they were the 3rd place match. Top Dog Gaming are formerly Winter Fox from the previous Challenger Series, and the way it works is when you're in the 5th, 6th spot in Challenger in the last year, that means that you come back, but you're placed into the bracket. You're not instantly into Challenger again, so you have to fight for your spot to come back. And that's why Pinoy's on this roster, that's why Ken's on this roster, and that's why we're seeing them come to this point. But they chose, because they had a chance to pick, I believe, between some teams, and they picked this one. They picked Astral Authority to go up against them, and now it looks like Astral Authority could take the series. They are poised to.
2-1 in the series so far. And, Top Dog, their backs are against the wall. This is the Winter Fox, I guess, team, not exactly the same roster, nowhere near. No. But the fact that they are still in this game, it is game 4, trading 1 for 1 and then for another one, you got to wonder what's going through their heads. We saw a great play out of Frostbite when their backs were against the wall. It was the most even game of the series so far.
Yeah, it's that whole thing where you wish that was game 1.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make sure that we didn't have any big macro mistakes. Let's actually improve our teamwork as the series goes on. And then things fell apart, and it was actually the last game for them. So it was close, but at the end, you definitely saw that mistake again where they gave up the turret. This game, you have to wonder, because I've been hearing, since we haven't been able to watch the game, I've been here on this desk watching the game with you guys for the TL series. But this one, I've been hearing it's back and forth. The picks are going back and forth. The score is going back and forth. We've had a 25-minute game. I think we've had another around 27-minute game, too. These have been fast games where somebody is getting a lead at like 3,000 gold at 9 minutes, right? Which is something that we didn't see in the previous series. We'd see like a 1K gold lead slowly but surely get pushed up. But this one seems like it's going to have a lot of blood in it, and it's going to have a lot more one-sided stuff where if somebody starts getting behind, that's going to be the daggers in, let's twist it, and make sure that we can end the game. So I think they aren't going to let up, and I think both teams are rather ruthless in that.
And I think that fits really well with patch 5.24. In the new season, it's all about ending the game sooner. It's on the winners to win the game, not just because they're winning, but because they've won? You know what I mean, right?
This is you right now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. I know where you're going with that, though. It's up to the people who have a lead to close the game out, because if they don't, you can actually come back from a deficit because of the minion pushes and because of the mechanics in the game right now. So, yes, you have to keep your foot on the gas pedal to end the game. You can't let up. It's not going to end by itself, right? So
we're certainly going to find out. But we are in pick and ban. This is game number 4 between Top Dog Gaming and Astral Authority. Currently, Astral Authority are leading by 2. You can see the bans on your screen right now.
Yeah, I like the Graves ban. We were talking about how Schernfire went 7-1-4 on that Graves. If you aren't comfortable picking it up for yourself on Acadian as a first pick, you ban it away. I like the adjustment here. And once again, this is where Ezreal was banned away previously against Pinoy. So I guess they're going to leave it open this time, maybe risk it. But it seemed to be what took down Astral Authority in Game 2.
Yeah, the first pick for Top Dog, he's going to be a wolf-based figure. Kindred locked in. Well, half-wolf.
Yeah.
Of the canine variety. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. But we'll see how Astral Authority decide to answer. So they've got 30 seconds left on the clock. And it is nice to have that Kindred locked in nice and quick. We've seen it quite a bit.
Yeah, Kindred is a very strong pick in the jungle right now. Nidalee banned away, so it's definitely the aggressive pick you want to go for. I think it matches Acadian's style. He's a guy who likes to build AD, play those types of junglers, but he also likes to carry. He's the Rengar player. He's the guy who likes to... I think he actually had a stint where he was playing top lane, and I think he played a bit of Tryndamere. He played a lot of things, but he's always been kind of a carry personality, a guy who wants to put the team on his back. And I think the Kindred is good, but with Kindred, you have to be really active. We saw Zeri get a very early kill in the previous series where he actually was able to jump into mid lane. You have so much mobility early on. You get flashes, come back, do it again. Make sure that you can camp this person. You have so much in your kit with the slow and the burst damage. Keep the pressure up. If you are Kindred and you let the pressure go for even a minute, you are very squishy. If people start getting damage, they're going to be able to burst you. You do have your ultimate, but... It's a small window. It's still a small window, right? If there's any CC on it too, you're going to see it. And just like what Astral Authority have picked up for themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 very magic-based champions with that Corki and a Lulu. Now, we've seen Corki mid. We've seen Corki AD carry. I'm a bit curious to see where this goes. And Top Dog, they look to answer. It's Tristana and Shen.
Yeah, and I actually like the Corki pickup here. We heard that Slushy was playing it in the mid lane, putting on his Faker pants. I heard it didn't go. I think it may have actually gone okay for him. I think it did. I think it actually did go okay for Slushy. He stepped up on that game. But these are flex picks, right? Jimmy Talon could take the Lulu. He could take the Corki. It could be a Corki to double G. It could be the Lulu going to the top lane. And, you know, it could be a Lulu going to stunt. I'm not gonna really put that one out there with confidence. But these are flex picks. You don't know where they're going. But Lulu was banned consistently by Frostbite on blue side, which I thought it was a mistake because it's so powerful right now, and especially with the way that the state of the game is, wave clear, you have ways to buff up your AD carries, which are so strong right now. I think it's definitely a steal if you could pick that up on a blue side every time.
Yeah, looks like it's not going to quite happen for Top Dog Gaming as Astral Authority lock in their next champion. Janna now locked in for Stunt, and Lee Sin going to be going over to Schernfire.
So it is going to be Lee Sin in the jungle here. Lee Sin is actually very good into Kindred. Lee Sin and Gragas are the two champions that I think you should take pretty much every time. Just so when Kindred throws the ultimate down, you kick him out of it. It's your ultimate now.
Yeah.
And they can die on the outside of it. So if you save your ultimate for misplacing or displacing the Kindred, then you're actually in a really good spot. Good dueling potential. You can actually keep up with her or them and then end up taking them out. So good pick there for Schernfire. He carried 7-1 and 4 on Graves previously. He might be able to do it again here. And then the disengage support here. So it's not support Lulu, but it is going to be a little bit of a poke comp here with some disengage.
Yeah, we'll see how the magic damage and poke for Authority works out. As right now, Fiddlesticks is being hovered for Top Dog Gaming. What better way to break a poke siege than have Fiddle Crow Storm into the enemy team? Oh no! Slooshy goes back to the tried and true Orianna.
I like it.
Yep.
When I was watching Slooshy back when he was on Challenger in Team 8, when he made it to the LCS, Orianna was always one of his better picks. Orianna and LeBlanc were the two picks that I remember Slooshy for because he was always consistent on those two. He was able to come up with lots of CS and also contribute a ton of damage to fights. So looking at Top Dog Gaming's composition, I didn't really get to touch too much on the Tristana, but it'll become sieging. It has double AD once again, which I think are going to be very popular compositions, just like Jat was saying on League of Learning, that they can knock down turrets, they can siege, they have their wave clear, and they have global pressure. You can keep these squishies alive. This is rather annoying. You have a good shielding composition here. If Pinoy can get slightly ahead, lots of peel, double shields for him, you have an ultimate from Kindred, you can keep him alive.
Yeah, now it's up to Astral Authority to answer. This could be the mid for Jimmy Talon or the top for Charong. 5 seconds left as he's looking for that last pick to round it out. Gnar locked in, that puts Lulu mid.
So that's a Lulu mid for Jimmy Talon. I thought I'd go with something more interesting than Lulu. Pretty much Lulu's the polar opposite of Talon.
Yeah.
I'm helping my teammates instead of stealing all their kills. But Lulu for Jimmy Talon. This composition is actually rather magic damage heavy. Schernfire, I want to see what build he ends up going for. Most Lee Sins will end up going for a supportive build after they get their warrior. But the Gnar as well for Charong. It's a good matchup for him a little bit. You do actually end up getting bullied by the Shen when you're in mini Gnar form around the mid parts of the game. But if you can end up in a split push scenario, you're okay. Get Black Cleaver, make sure you're able to push. I actually went, just walking away from this, I do kind of like Top Dog Gaming's composition a little bit more. Lulu on a Corki is not always the best because you really want an attack speed AD carry to make sure that you keep getting pixes off, but it's still okay. Like, I think that this is a composition that will work. Once again, you have a lot, like I said, on Top Dog Gaming side, 2 shields, speed ups, peel, ways to keep your AD carry alive. You look at against Astral Authority, they have a Gnar for peel, lots of stuns. They have somebody who can kick back with the Lee Sin. And then you have 2 shields, Janna, Lulu, and you have ways to keep Double G alive. So lots of focus on both AD carries in this game.
Yeah, let us know who you think has what it takes to win game number 4. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag TDGWin or hashtag AAWin. And I'm actually looking forward to this because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of disengage on both sides. We could easily see poke and sieges just going on for long periods of time.
Yeah, and when poke and sieges go on for a very long time, AD carries are usually the people who get the most benefit out of it because they sit there, they farm, and when it becomes to a Tristana versus a Corki, well, Tristana actually probably gets the better of that in the later game. I know Corki is extremely strong right now, and if you have the ideal scenario with your W when it's upgraded, you can really wreak some havoc in a fight. But, once again, Tristana range, hard to compensate for on a Corki. You're going to have to pull off some crazy maneuvers.
Yeah,
but he might be up for it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Pinoy can quite pull it off. 30 seconds in. Very defensive setup from Astral Authority there as they sit on their red buff. 5-man line from Top Dog Gaming. I don't think we're going to see any invade quite yet, as everyone likes to sit back and just play it safe. You know, this is Astral Authority's chance to get into the Challenger Series. They need one win.
Yeah, and when you have that one win, you basically have all the confidence. AA sitting, waiting for an invade. I assume that an invade has happened earlier in the series when you look at something like that, where they probably came to that bush twice. Maybe it cost them a game. So, gonna disperse, but then it is TDG, making sure that they just have the flat 5-man spread. But it is a lane swap too. We do see TDG. It's gonna keep Brandon FTW up in the top. And then you're going to have Pinoy and Ken start those Krugs, get themselves a little bit of experience. But same thing for Double G and Stunt.
So how does this lane swap work? We're going to see Double G and Stunt take the Krugs, it looks like, for a bit of early experience, while Pinoy and Ken, we're going to start with the Krugs of their own. They're on opposite sides of the map. And as you mentioned, Tristana, so fast at taking turrets.
Yeah, Tristana's very fast at taking turrets, but you do have to keep in mind that Corki, Wave Clear might be a little bit better early. Ken will try to assist with Wave Clear if he can, but it's a Janna as well. Janna definitely helps you take turrets early on and allows you to harass the enemy top laner out much easier. If Charong goes to this bottom lane, he's able to just throw Boomerang, CS a little bit, and it does look like it's going to be a lane swap where you send your top laner and support to the bot lane, and you leave your AD carry in the top lane. And when I talked about how this is such an AD carry dependent matchup, just in general based on the compositions, giving your AD carry solo experience is very beneficial. So Double G might be in a better spot after this lane swap, just based off of what he's getting experience-wise.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for Double G, as looks like it is going to be Chorong and Stunt in the bottom. Again, Pinoy sharing experience with Ken as he heads down there. Doesn't want to take any chances with a 1v2 Pinoy. And the double jungle initiated for Top Dog Gaming. We'll have to see how this works out for them, as Fire is well on his way. He's getting some solo experience in the jungle as well. And things have kind of settled down just a bit.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a long while before Brandon actually should be up in this top lane. I think he should have been here a little bit earlier, but he does catch the wave, so I can't knock him for it at all. I definitely think that this is where you need to be right now. You can't let that Corki continue to push. You have to be able to actually match him in this lane swap and get some experience for yourself.
Looks like Brandon is trying to clear up some minions as fast as he can. Already up to level 3. He's actually up to 10 CS, whereas poor old Chorong on the other side, he's sitting in an uncomfortable 3. Acadian is going to clear out this Scuttle Crab. Not marked, but still a good thing to secure early on, as we can see Fire on the bottom side of the map as well. So it looks like everyone's focus is on the bottom for now, but we're not going to see anything come of it.
And the question is, at the end of the day, is experience on your AD carry in this composition worth more than experience and CS on your top lane? Because that's what you're trading right now. Double G is going to get more levels, but Strong's going to be starved a tiny bit, not as much CS as Brandon. But I think that's actually worth it in this composition. I think, like I said, AD carry dependent. I think it's the right choice just to leave him up there by himself.
Yeah, we're seeing Brandon continue to catch this CS. Might just try to stop the recall from Double G just to buy a little bit of time. Oh, in fact, Double G turns it around and everything's nice and calm as everybody just farms it out. Calm, cool, and collected 4.5 minutes in. And, you know, you can't really blame Top Dog. This is their last, what could be their last chance, as it's 2-1 in Astral Authority's favor. Ooh, Jimmy Talon is going to help out with the Krug. Snags it for himself.
Doesn't matter. They're pretty much just trying to take it from Acadian because it was marked. Don't want it to go over to that Kindred, so he starts getting an extra damage early. But I definitely think that that was something where you probably could have actually had a heads-up play, maybe zone Jimmy Talon off a little bit, but he does seem to be in a strong position. Because Acadian had 2 long swords to Fire's nothing in his inventory. It could have been a 2-on-2 that maybe you could have won, but they decided not to pick it in the first place because Top Dog Gaming are actually just sitting on more gold overall, mostly because Shen is picking up CS and it's much harder for Chorong to do so.
Yeah, so far it's an 11 gold lead for Brandon. His wave is actually going to push into Chorong. Interestingly enough, Acadian is showing himself up here. I don't know if he was able to sneak into that bush successfully, but the late red buff could see it come into use. Oh, it just falls off.
Fell off. Very interesting. Slushy with the TP. Acadian sitting in this bush. Actually, I want to go back to Slushy. Slushy TP'd back to this mid lane, so he's going to be able to make some team plays and see if he can roam over Jimmy Talon. But Jimmy Talon's pretty much going to be with the team when it hits mid-game. I don't think there would be a use for the TP on this Lulu, or too much demand for it. Up top, though, Acadian is still sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh,
very patient.
Stunned.
Shows himself in the mid lane. Flash used by Slushi. The slow is going to miss along with the knock-up. Nice roam from that support Janna, but not able to make anything come of it. And Acadian, he spent a lot of time up there. He's finally going to complete his recall, picks up his Warhammer, and matches some of the damage that Schernfire's hopefully going to be looking to do, but Schernfire's a step ahead.
Schernfire going for possibly the wraparound play here. There's a pink ward in that brush. If he goes through, yeah, there he goes. He's on a mission.
Oh,
Kill
but they're
Ken
already
Pinoy.
collapsing
Stun.
onto stun. He's taken quite a bit. Exhaust buys him time. Will it be enough? Knocked out of the leap forward. He's looking for the reset. He gets it. Pinoy, first blood. He leaps out of the way. Shen ultimate's enough to keep him alive, and Flash from Ken keeps him safe for now. Sonic Wave, and Ken goes back in as Acadian joins the battle. Flash burned by Schernfire.
Wow, back and forth there. Brandon having his ultimate ended up being big, and that was the difference. Remember I talked about the lane swap. Brandon, if he had actually matched and gone with the support, he wouldn't have been level 6 at this point. Big save there by having that.
Oh, Brandon barely misses the shadow dash onto Chorong, turns it around. No armor just yet, and for now, Brandon might be winning out on damage. Chorong just tries to bully him away. And things are settling down. Kindred on his way to the new scuttle, but Schernfire plays on top of it. Oh, he could be looking... Can't quite make up his mind. He's going for the Raptor camp right now, and
we got marked.
Acadian. Looks like that's who he's going for. Schernfire takes quite a bit of damage. Flash is used. Schernfire has none, but Lulu is able to keep him alive with a great wild growth. Don't know that Acadian's done just yet, but finally decides to back off.
Acadian starts marking Schernfire while he's doing his camp. He's like, I got my eye on you. Those are my Raptors. But ends up getting his flash for it, ends up getting the Lulu ultimate as well from Jimmy Talon. So this gives Slushi, once again, a little bit of pressure, but he doesn't have his summoners. And there's always a little bit of kill pressure from Jimmy Talon, too, with the Ignite.
Some action in the bottom. TDG backs away as some more turret pressure is applied. And after the lane swap, when it's all said and done, despite Top Dog or Astral Authority being the ones to initiate it, it's 1,000 gold in favor of Top Dog.
Yeah, Top Dog, they ended up getting the Shen ultimate on Brandon for the win, which I think is the biggest thing to come out of that entire lane swap, is the Shen had a CS lead, was able to actually maintain it even when the lane swap came back, because it's against a Gnar who should have an okay time CSing, but it was denied experience. So if Brandon had matched, wouldn't have had the Shen ulti, and then when you go down to the bottom, well, Double G, he's up one level, but they both have their ultimates and they survived, and Pinoy got a kill too.
Things nice and calm as Brandon continues to work on that 20 CS lead he has over Chorong. 10 CS lead for Schernfire, but not too much coming from it, as Acadian did spend a lot of time in that top lane. Double G has got his package now as he runs down to the bottom lane. He's going to be on his own, though, as it looks like Stunt takes a detour through the mid lane to clear out the pink ward of Top Dog Gaming.
We have that package on, though. You do have a time limit before it wears off, so it's kind of a tell you're looking for a play when you pick it up, because you could just leave it there. You don't have to pick it up. It helps you get back to lane a little bit faster, but
super early home guards.
Extra movement speed. You can roam with it really easily. But I don't know if there's going to be a play in Double G's future. Yeah. They're actually playing it really safe here, but you see Pinoy and Ken go back after they clear the wave. Instead of getting turret damage and risking it because they don't have the ward coverage in their river, they go to get the Crux. Well, which I think is a smart play.
I guess I have to ask the scary question then. If everybody's taking it slow, they're content to farm it out and play it patient, who does it benefit more?
Oh,
it's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. I definitely think that Kindred versus Lee Sin is always down to skill. If the Lee Sin saves the kick for the Kindred ulti, Kindred does end up hitting damage thresholds better with more stacks. In the mid lane, though, rather even. They both get to shield. And then, of course, it's always the AD carry. I said it at the start, the AD carries, I do favor the Tristana personally, but I know that Corki is really strong now. But I think that the range of Tristana is really hard to compensate for when you have the items in the auto attacks.
We are seeing the slow build towards that scary late game from both of these teams.
Ooh.
Very strong compositions. Double G lands a bit of damage, lands the Thunderlords on top of it. Double G will not be stopped. He misses his rocket, but Pinoy still chunked down to half with only a bit of lifesteal.
Yeah, didn't see it, but I heard it off screen. Ken used his Pulverize on the minions, and that's why Double G was not afraid to just walk up and try to make a play. Try to get some damage down, too, because there was no way the retaliation was going to come through.
Yeah, Schernfire looking for the patented Liquid Mat gank in the mid lane over the Raptor wall. Doesn't quite find it, as Slushi is playing safe, and Acadian was on that side as well. Looks like Schernfire is going to clear out this Scuttle Crab, but Acadian on his way already to the other one. This could be yet another stack on that Kindred, as he's going to clear through that so quickly.
You gotta watch out for Schernfire, though. He's coming for the backside.
Oh, Slushi gets caught. Stand United finds it, but Slushi...
Flash taunt.
Ooh, there it is. Jimmy Talon's the target. There's the Shockwave. Slushi nets the kill.
Or taunt flash, I guess. But I definitely, when that came through, I'm really surprised Jimmy Talon didn't ulti himself or even flash to try and... Because it looked like what was going to be in line for Brandon FTW.
Yeah.
Ends up another kill going over to TDG. And despite them being down in the series one game, they're holding on. They're hanging in there. They have a gold lead by about 1.6K, and they're not letting the pressure get to them. I actually like the position, too, that Acadian's in. Acadian can actually come from behind here on Strong. If you just get him down to like half HP, 100% you tower dive this.
Oh, yeah, looks like that's what they're going for. The bounce gets Strong forward. Flash is used. Acadian decides not to pursue.
I'm actually surprised Acadian came from that angle. I thought he was going to come from the back of the turret so that he'd have to flash into you and then just try to outplay under the turret. But yeah, looks like he does get a flash out of him. Definitely worth it because you blew your flash in mid for Brandon. Even them up, give him more pressure again. You can always revisit that lane too. Keep it up as Kindred.
Yeah. We'll see if any more ganks are going to occur. Slushi trying to recall gets canceled by Talon, who's made his way back, going for the Boots of Lucidity. Again, those cheap CDR boots.
Yeah, Boots of Lucidity on Lulu were not uncommon, but now they're even more common. It's the 300 gold difference, and that's another reason. Like Frost Queen's claim is super good, but it's super cheap too. Everybody's about cost effectiveness right now. Acadian though, looking for a stack on Schernfire. I think he's still marked. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, he goes for it just as the Sonic Wave is used, but Schernfire rides his way to safety with a safeguard. Gets a wild growth just for the extra health.
Oh, a little bit late on the Frost Queen's claim active there. I actually thought that would be used to engage it, but chooses not to, uses it a little later. And here we go, this matchup in the top. Yeah, when you're going for the build that has a Black Cleaver in it, Black Cleaver's not as much HP as it used to be. Builds out of Caulfield's Warhammer now, as well as a Phage. Not what it used to be, the Phage and the Kindle Gem. So it's, I think, about 200 HP less than it was previously. So you're very vulnerable. You can, though.
Take some damage from Schernfire. Even Pinoy, despite having the turret within kill range, plays it safe. The moment he sees Quirky, despite having a wave, decides to back away, keep it nice and calm. And we're starting to see some big gaps opening up. 20 CS lead for Slushi, 30 CS lead for Brandon.
He's trying to take every Raptor that he can. His Raptors, their Raptors. It's the old... Oh, wait, speaking of the old,
Raptors aren't going to do too much if he's already in your jungle. Ken is so tanky. Chorong is teleporting in. That's 4 members bottom, now 5 as Talon has roamed as well, but Brandon has joined the fight with a teleport of his own. They could be looking for this tier 1.
Yeah, you have to back off of this because you're going to get the tier 1 in mid, and they might not even get this one because they're running back.
Yeah, scary situation. 4 members trying to bully it down. Double G's taking a few turret hits. That needs to be on the minions, but no, it's going forward. Just trying to harass away Pinoy and Brandon. The mid T1 goes down. That's the first of the game while the siege continues in the bottom. Astral Authority haven't backed off yet. They just lost Meganar. Ooh. Oh, but they could be looking for it. They've got a Cannon Minion Wave now.
Yeah, they got a Cannon Minion Wave. They might pick this up, but that's going to be the red going over to Acadian on the opposite side of the map. So he's just pretty much maximizing his time. You get that bottom turret, I'll get this. I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to clear the jungle and possibly even go top to clear that and push it out. Because there's no TP on Chorong. They know it, they saw it, and there's nobody in that vicinity either. They have eyes on everybody. It could be 2 turrets.
Yeah, with a wave building, we'll have to see if Acadian can break down the tier 1 as it looks like Astral Authority back away. Double G's on top of a ward, but still makes it out just fine. And yeah, now we can see Acadian start to head up to that while Slushi gets fed his blue by Brandon.
It looks more like Acadian's actually just sitting in the brush and waiting for somebody to pass by. Throws down his ward in the lane. And yeah, a little late to push it now.
Yeah.
Double G ended up picking up the package and running towards top lane, but it's going to be a wave here for Brandon, but they're actually going to back off of it.
So it is 1-for-1 in turrets. Red buff secured by Acadium, though Schernfire's on the other side. He won't do the same. Good guy, Schernfire. Says, you know what? You take my jungle, that's okay. I'm going to turn the other cheek.
Oh, there's the other turret.
Oh, Pinoy and Ken take the bottom tier 1. There are 3 members. Whoa, Pinoy goes deep onto Charong. Here comes Brandon. Stun takes some damage as well. Flash is used. Brandon decides not to dive.
Yeah, Brandon could have gone for another taunt flash, but there's no big reason to. Jimmy!
Ooh, forced to use Wild Growth on himself. Slushy's looking for it. Double flash. There's the very scary spooky ghost. 2 spooky 5 me, but Talon gets out just fine. Stun gets caught though. He's got no flash this time. Monsoon buys him time, but it's not enough. He drops. Pinoy chases forward. He leaps and zones away Schernfire.
And now you wait for that middle wave and you try to push that up. They did lose their top turret to Double G, continuing to push, but TDG, they haven't given up a kill, and they're even in turrets now. They actually aren't even going to take more. That's so surprising to me when I see a team that could get some turret damage mid opt for taking Raptors for Slushy, and then they go for the Dragon. I think that a little bit of a missed opportunity, but the Dragon one is important.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Dragon number 1 now secured by Top Dog Gaming. 17 minutes in, they're up with a 3-kill lead and a 3,000 gold lead, despite it being even in turrets. Brandon is trying to maintain that advantage over Charong, but Slushy in the mid lane, he's nearly 50 CS ahead of Jimmy.
He's a dirty CS pattern. Takes all the jungle farm. Raptors. I need those to see things.
As a mid laner, those were the glory days when you could just go and, hey, I need these. I need this. You made this, I need this.
Oh my god.
Oh, looks like
take my blue buff. Take my vision.
Yeah, that's Rift Herald being taken now by Astral Authority. Double G's the one who secures the buff. And Brandon decides not to push in the top anymore. Doesn't want to take any chances. And Slushy continues to farm it up in the middle.
Slushy with that large CS lead. Already cracked the 10 per minute mark. Doing very well for himself. One of his classic picks that he went back to. I definitely think that this is going to be a big boon for TDG moving forward in this game. Not only is it going to be a lot of damage and a threat with the Shockwave, but also a shield for Pinoy. Pinoy, the build he's going for right now is where you get the BF sword and the pickaxe, and then you complete IE after you complete a Zeal item. I think Rapid Fire Cannon on Tristana first is really strong. People would always go for the static shiv to continue farming and to push waves quickly, but she doesn't really need that too much with the explosive shot, with the explosive charge. Now, when she hits around, I think around level 11-ish, you're able to outrange turrets. So when you're sieging, you can walk up to the turret, give it one shot with your static, with your rapid fire cannon, run around in a circle, and then go do it again. So you always have active time damaging the turret during a siege. Helps you close the game out.
Yeah, on top of that, we just saw Pinoy steal the blue buff away from Jimmy Talon. Very confident play, but some untimely recalls from Astral Authority meant they couldn't quite contest it in time. And Pinoy, with red and now blue, sets a nice wave of building. Double G has got to catch it.
Could make a play towards the top side of the map with these minion waves, but right now it looks like it's just going to be farm time for everybody in this game. I know that TDG don't want to make too aggressive of a play and try to end up throwing. Nothing too risky. I think that on the spectrum of risk versus reward, they're going to go for the low reward stuff as long as it's low risk too. So the low risk play is pretty much what's going to be in TDG's mind at all times.
It is farm o'clock, and at approximately farm 30, we're going to see a transition to Siege Siesta. Everyone's just going to take their time.
There we go.
Farm it up.
Move your Tristana, move the person who knocks down the turrets to the top lane, where there's still a tier 1 standing. So Pinoy, going to pick up this farm, going to continue to shove this turret out. Let's see if he can actually break it down.
Ooh. Charong is actually completing his recall here despite seeing Tristana. He's got to answer bottom where Brandon is pushing, but here comes the rest of Astral Authority looking to collapse. Ken is already waiting in the wings.
Yeah, 3 members come up to the top lane to stop this, but that means that you have to bring Charong back to go to the bottom lane and stop that split push. So Charong still rather squishy. Swifty boots for almost everybody on the map. Very good. Classic preseason.
Oh, Pinoy.
Oh, it showed them too.
Yeah,
they don't know about Acadian though.
Yeah, they could look to collapse. Acadian, now's the time to pull the trigger. He turns it around. Ken drops in. Churnfire goes low. Double teleport Monsoon to disengage. Looks like it's canceled from both sides. And Slushy stays with some damage onto Talon. Shockwave forces out the flash.
It's good to get the flash though. You really want to get that away from Lulu. Then you have that playmaking ability. Brandon though still has his. And he was looking for a play.
Yeah, he certainly was, but instead they're going to focus on the turret. No minions there just yet. Brandon takes some chip damage from the turret. Double G tries to clear him out, but just doesn't quite have enough. Slushy, with an amazing map sense, knows that Charong has disappeared and decides to group up with the rest of his team as they look to break down this third Tier 1 turret.
Don't quote me on it, but I think he threw his ball at Raptors just to try and get some sneaky CS too. I don't know, but I think that's what he was doing.
Oh, boy. It wasn't even, hey, I'm going to join up with my team. I don't know where Nar is. It's, oh, Raptor's up.
Oh, yeah. I like, throw it at it real quick. I probably wasn't.
What's the respawn on the Raptor?
I'm probably just giving him a hard time. It's something like that. I think it might be 80, 70.
Because the Shockwave, that's about that cooldown. He goes in. Ken gets caught out. Lots of damage drops onto him. There goes
no mana
his shield.
Speed up, though. There's the slowdown.
Ghost keeps him up. Here's Churnfire. He flashes forward for the kill. Lamb's Respite buys time. Churnfire's got his... Oh, my gosh. Oh, they finally get the kill. Double G secures it.
And they get to continue this push. They have the numbers advantage. Slushy doesn't have mana to clear these waves. But their wave is very far behind, so they can't actually get to this turret. They'll pick up the blue. They might rotate to the mid lane turret now and try to siege that down and get some gold for themselves and even up the turret count.
Yeah, this mid-tier 1 is now the big subject for Astral Authority. That would bring it to 3-3 in turrets. Can't quite bring it down, but it is so close. The next wave, they just might be able to, as Double G now steals the blue buff away from Top Dog Gaming, and things even up just a bit. Still a 4,000 gold lead in favor of Top Dog, but Astral Authority, they're not out of this yet.
Yeah, pretty much a CS lead, top, mid. The mid CS lead, though, is huge. Former LCS player Slushy is coming up big right now. 70 CS above the 200 mark and 80 above his opponent. Way above the 10 per minute mark right now. Slushy's doing a very good job on this Orianna, and not only that, he's 2 levels up over Jimmy and has the highest level in the game by a good margin.
I think the most interesting thing is that there's been no response from Churnfire. He's at 280 CS 23 minutes into the game, albeit with Raptors.
Yeah.
But Churnfire's been spending his time trying to track Kindred, trying to deal with Pinoy.
Yeah, what Churnfire's been doing is Churnfire's been going to these side lanes. He's been going back and forth, and when they keep swapping it back where you put the Tristana top to knock down that turret, you put Tristana bottom, he's trying to match that. He's trying to roam around and keep tabs on Pinoy like you were saying, but Slushy's left unchecked, and that's sometimes what happens in a lane swap, right? We used to talk about how lane swaps were 4 people push bottom. Well, what are the mid laners doing? The mid laners are on the island now. Sometimes people would come by and blow their flash mid with like a support roam, but there really isn't a whole lot of that right now. Slushy's pretty much untouched. Slushy gets to do whatever he wants in this game, and when he hits 16 and starts grouping up for these fights, it's going to be an immense amount of damage, because look at his build. If you just compare builds side by side, he's a Rabadon's Deathcap completion over Jimmy Talon.
Very scary Orianna if he's able to land anything. Luckily, he's got a few ball delivery systems on Shen and Alistar. We're approaching the 25-minute mark, and we just saw Dragon number 2 secured by Top Dog Gaming. Looks like they're not quite focused on breaking down those tier 2s just yet. Pinoy, level 13, completed his Infinity Edge on top of the RFC, so should be able to get some good chunk damage once he finds it. You can see him burning through that Janna shield on Double G.
So once you have these items and you have this much wave clear and almost 100 CS lead for Slushy in the mid lane, go ahead, group up, put 4 people mid, go between Baron and top lane over and over again. Baron top mid, keep the vision control, and you also have Brandon, who has 2 sources of globals. If Brandon even has to TP somewhere, he still has Stand United available to him. So he's going to go match bottom, which I actually think is a very interesting choice here.
Yeah, it looks like Top Dog are a little bit quick. Pinoy standing on top of the blue trinket is going to clear it. As that wave heads top, it is answered by Astral Authority. Churnfire looks for his red buff. He's got some help from Double G. They see Acadian. Spooky Ghost is going to catch him while Brandon finds Turong. Taunt lands. He does so much damage and is so incredibly tanky.
Strong tries to answer back. Ooh, taunt barely misses. Brandon has his flash, so too does Strong. But Brandon just might zone this away. Could look for the flash taunt. Is Strong ready? He lands it, gets the solo kill in the bottom lane. 5-1, top dog.
And Brandon, oh man, it's mostly magic damage. If you look at the items that Strong has, he has flat health and some armor. The majority of what Shen is going to do to you is not that type of resistance.
Yeah. Scary situation now that that global teleport threat is gone. Pinoy pulls the trigger. Double G goes in, but doesn't go far enough. Pinoy gets kicked under the turret. He flashes. He's still alive. Teleport keeps him standing. Double G goes down. Tristana's running from the side, but Schernfire trying to get out to safety. There goes the spooky ghost. Schernfire says, ah! And gets out. He actually dodges to the scuttle crab, rides him to safety. Brandon, ooh, not quite going to catch up. Misses the Sonic Wave. That's a big cooldown. 3, 2, 1. Is he going to be able to make it out of this one? Brandon catches it. Another kill on Brandon.
He still runs them around the map. They're able to get this mid lane turret if Jimmy Talent, there you go, gets that last shot. And they don't lose any structures in response. So the turret count is evened up again. But Baron, right there. And you know the jungler is the last one that died. So getting this stolen, pretty disgraceful.
No jungle, no AD carry. There's the respawn from Double G. He's home guarding as quick as he can, but it's so easy for Top Dog to secure that. That's Baron 1, 27 minutes in.
Top Dog Gaming, despite having their backs against the wall, being down 2-1 in the series, they are coming up big. 7-1 in kills, even in turrets now, but they have been great up there on their objective control and their patience. This right here, kick back into turret. Watch Pinoy. He takes the turret shot, flashes, and then he starts autoing to try and get some HP back because he has a Vamp Scepter. Just barely enough gold for that too when he backed previously.
Yeah, very solid play out of Top Dog as they are securely in the lead. 6,000 gold ahead now with the Baron buff. They're looking for game number 5 to get into the NA Challenger Series. Spooky Ghost is going to find Pinoy, but unfortunately that does nothing for his attack speed. The turret is shredded. Fire is obliterated, and Pinoy finds stunt, flash shield, and the wild growth is needed to keep him alive, but this is not Top Dog Gaming being finished. Not at all. They look for the inhibitor. It goes down. The inhibitor itself gets dropped. Pinoy has come online.
I think he's been online for a while. He just hasn't shown it. Same with Slushy. Slushy level 17 to level 14. He's gonna annihilate him.
Shockwave on stun. He goes down. This could be the end as Jimmy Talon is forced to back away. He's at such low health. But Top Dog Gaming, they've got Baron buff. They've got a minion wave. The tier 2 goes down, and they're looking for the bottom inhibitor.
And they still have Baron. They're able to push this down. It's just gonna get blown up right there. Look at that. Pinoy obliterates it, and that's the second inhibitor in the same push. This looks like it might be a 30-minute game in favor of TDG, and then moving on to the 5th.
Yeah, this is a huge Baron power play, and Astral Authority, they just have been a little bit too slow this game. We're watching Top Dog take objective after objective, and there has been some fancy footwork. You know, Slushy getting some great damage across, some excellent CS to back it up, and Pinoy with his fast fingers just bullying Astral Authority away.
And it's so funny how League of Legends, just as a whole, watching like way back and thinking to the lane swap, if Brandon hadn't been the one getting solo experience, he wouldn't have had his ultimate to save Pinoy in the first play, which could have been a snowball, because what TDG did from there is they were able to have lane dominance, they were able to push it out consistently, and Brandon got the lead, even if though it's an assist, that he needed on that Shen to continue pulling out, especially with the experience advantage.
Very scary situation for Astral Authority. Gotta wonder what they might try if we do make it to game number 5. This game isn't over yet. There's still a standing inhibitor. And while there is a Shen split pushing with Teleport and Stand United, this Death Bush might just be enough. No, they decided.
It's so hard to Death Bush because if somebody hits Frost Queen's claim, it'll run towards you.
Yeah.
And then you're too far forward if you're trying to plant a Death Bush. But Pinoy, turrets, structures going down here. Slushy with the wave clear. And Slushy with the champion clear too if somebody steps too far forward. He has ultimate again.
Yeah, this is a scary position. Schernfire pulls the trigger. Somehow he gets knocked in. Slushy's the target. Monsoon buys time, but he holds on to his flash. The stun goes down, but there's not enough. There's the package. Strong goes low. He goes down. Stunt goes low. He's going to follow. Double G trading with the KD, and he doesn't have vision. Lamb's respite buys time. It's all about the time.
Draw.
Will he get it? Oh, Double G gets it first, but Top Dog Gaming are ending it. Nexus 1 goes down. Nexus 2 follows. Here's the Nexus itself. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a Game 5 on our hands.
Top Dog Gaming bring it back 2-2. AA had them against the wall. AA had the series. Once again, blue side, 100% win rate in the series.
It's so interesting. We had 100% red win rate, now 100% blue win rate. But Top Dog Gaming, what exceptional play. Slushy, that guy's CS.
Yeah, he Flame Horizoned him there at the end, having 100 CS more than Jimmy Talon.
Yeah, 357 CS, 31 minutes into the game. A full 100 past. I believe it was 251 of Jimmy Talon.
Just barely, 106 more than him. But overall, that ended up just being a cascade effect where your Shen got a really good position. Brandon FTW, huge credit to him. Highest kill participation in the game as a top laner. Shen, just throughout the day, has been a huge priority pick for top laners. But the funny thing is that it's only priority in the game. When you play against it, you realize, ah, damn, we probably shouldn't have left that for him. But nobody's like first picking it. Nobody's banning it.
Yeah.
Right? You're sitting, well, I guess they banned it in the TLA Frostbite game 3 after they learned. But it's such a strong pick in a world where TP is basically the only way that you interact with fights as a top laner. So TP, stand united. Every time he was able to make a play, it counted. And I loved his taunt flashes this game. Not scared to pull that trigger. Not scared to blow the flash and maybe have it flash in return. But every time, Lulu, Gnar, caught him with that ability, and then they were able to capitalize off of it. So I think that TDG, looking forward, they need to dig deep again, have Slushy farm, have Brandon go to Pinoy's lane. If you can get Shen again, I say you take it.
Yeah, this time, this next game, it's going to be Astral Authority on the blue side, as they did pick blue for all 3 of their games. So that begs the question now, with first pick for Astral Authority, do they prioritize that Shen? Do they try to secure it that early on into the rotation?
Yeah, Shen is a strange pick because he's so strong when he's in the game, but people are a little hesitant to first pick him.
Yeah.
They think, okay, well, what happens if they pick a very lane dominant champion into me? What if they go with a Darius or something? What if they pick a Fiora into me? Am I going to be able to actually leave lane to deal with it? So there are some answers to him that you're able to play with. Fiora, I think, is a big one, because if you're able to riposte the stun, the taunt, if you're able to actually go back and forth with the sustain and the percent HP true damage, you can really devastate a Shen in the top lane. So I think this is something that's probably going to be banned out just because you don't want to see it be picked up. But I think he's definitely pivotal to the game right now that we're seeing in professional play, at least today in the Challenger Series.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how that works out. And that's not to say that they had a bad pick and ban. In fact, I really liked it. You could see the flexibility with the Lulu.
Yeah, I think that both teams went for overall a similar strategy, except when you're playing a protect the AD carry type composition, I think that the Lulu versus Ori, it's relatively even. Orianna does end up with more on the damage spectrum. Lulu ends up with more on the utility spectrum. But with a Corki, not the ideal pick. And a Shen versus a Gnar.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to the Shen.
And that was the last pick counter too. He
Shen.
picked it into it, and then there was the lane swap to keep him away, though that did end up not working out in their favor.
Yeah, I think that Gnar is okay into Shen early. You get to hit him a bunch in lane. He can't really do anything about it, but they swapped him away, and they tried to give farm over to Double G.
Yeah.
So Double G ended up with that farm, but it wasn't Double G for the team.
He made a couple of tiny errors here and there, not Valkyring all the way onto the Tristana, but we'll see if he can improve that in the next one. Make sure you stick around to see the conclusion of this tied-up series between Astral Authority and Top Dog Gaming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, wait, you came back?
Oh, we're coming back. Ah! Gets out just fine. Stun gets caught, though. He's got no flash this time. Monsoon buys him time, but it's not enough. He drops. Double G goes in, but doesn't go far enough. Pinoy gets kicked under the turret. He flashes. He's still alive. Teleport keeps him standing.
Slushy level 17 to level 14? He's gonna annihilate him.
Shockwave on stun. He goes down. Slushy's the target. Monsoon buys time, but he holds on to his flash. The stun goes down, but there's not enough. There's the package. Durong goes low.